First of all, thanks you guys for coming. Today I'm going to share some project insights I got from my project. So this is my master graduation project. It starts from March and it's already now the 5th month. And the topic of it is about increasing therapist engagement. So let's start from a quote from a strategy update meeting several months ago. It's about professionals have very little time to learn about e-health or even think about e-health, because sometimes they're very stubborn. So this is also the starting point of my project. So I'm considering why there's a low engagement there and how we can solve it. And this is the goal of the project, is to find out the barriers that stop therapists from using the platform and also figure out design solutions to improve the engagement. And this is the roadmap of my project. I start from the literature review about, I research on technology acceptance models or implementation strategies. And also I did interviews both with therapists and also with stakeholders in our company. And based on the research analysis, I identified the barriers and clustered them into different levels. And also I conclude user needs. And from that, I have my design directions and specifications. And I developed several design prototypes and test with users and improve it. But I'm not going to show the whole project today because it's a 5-month project and it's not possible to show it in 30 minutes. So I selected 3 things that I want to show you with you guys today. First is about one research methodology that I found very useful during my research phase. And 2 theory. One is about behavior change and another one is about gamification, about theories gamification. And the last part is about 3 recommendations for future mind disease development. Let's start with the research methodology. So during my research phase, the purpose of my research, I want to have a better understanding of how a therapist's daily routine looks like. And I want to find the barriers that leading to low engagement in different stakeholders in different levels. And also I want to define the deeper needs and wishes from the therapist. I interviewed with Lotta and her former colleague, and I also talked with Alchi and Jeanette about the current training and implementation situations. So the method I want to introduce is called context mapping. I will explain in details later. This method I used with 2 therapists, and it has many useful insights. So what is context mapping? It is a research method that I used to generate more insights from the users. The core value of this context mapping method is that users are the experts of their own experiences, so we should involve them before the design process. And with the help of different kind of generative tools, as you can see from the pictures, there are inspirational pictures, stickers, posts, and also different emojis. So the users can then combine these materials and create their own daily routine. So we know that we have different methods to do user research, for example, interviews. Through interviews, we can know what people say and what people think. And through observation, we can know what people, how people are doing or what kind of tools people use. And also generative techniques here, we can have a deeper understanding of what people feel and what people dream of. So this is how they're doing the context mapping. And I invited them to do 2 things. One is this one in a timeline. This is a typical day of my work. So I asked them to present to me what is your daily routine looks like and how does an activity, for example, treating a patient starts and how it ends. They can create their own pictures. And this is my future expectations. So what kind of features or functions that you expect from Mind District in the future most? So I'll show you just one result. This is Lotta did. How is her day looks like. So she needs to treat 7 patients in a day, which is quite a lot. And the green sticker indicates that is when she used Mind District. She used it to give feedback, or she used it during the sessions to teach the clients how to use Mind District. And they also have to do a lot of other things during the intervals, for example, replying to emails or answering phones, so they're quite busy. And also, this is her future expectations. She wants more training from Mind District. She wants a therapist online community where they can help each other or discuss questions. She wants more simple to use, very clearly overview platform, and she also wants shorter modules. So the insights I got from this research is that we can use these kind of visual languages to present users' daily routine in a more straightforward way, so it says more than like interviews or observations. And also, those generated tools can help the users more aware of their daily lives. So through only language, they could not describe their routines very clearly, but we can help them to express their needs and wishes in this way. And also, through the interview, I listed all their useful quotes and then clustered them. I'm not going to show it today, but this is the end result of the identified factors in different levels. That could be from the therapist side, from the organization part, from the Mind District company side, and from the platform, the product itself, and it goes also from the social level. I listed them, considered them in this form, but yeah, it's too much, so I also uploaded it, so if you're interested, you can see in details. Those are the 5 factors that I think could affect the therapist engagement in different aspects. And after that, I invite our colleagues to help me map all these identified factors. The axes are opportunities and feasibility. So those opportunity means like you think this problem could be solved in more opportunities, in more ways, and feasibility indicates how practical that we can solve this problem. So as you can see here, like the factors relating to the platform itself, for example, usability, privacy, and security, or perceived usefulness, is more easy to solve compared to like the lower part, the management in the healthcare organization itself, or the vision that they don't have a vision of using e-health, that we are more hard to change those parts because it more depend on themselves. So I started from the platform itself to see whether I can make some improvements. So the solution is how to increase the engagement. There are 3 ways. The first one is about forming habits, to help them form habits using the platform. The second one is using serious gamification to help us design the platform. And the last one is about creating a community where therapists are more connected to each other. So here comes the second one, the 2 theory I want to introduce. The first one is about form behaviors. So if we take a look at the daily apps that we're using, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, so why people are checking it hundreds of times per day even though they didn't receive any new messages? So it's because people already formed the habits of using it even though they didn't receive any new messages. So this theory is called hook model. It aims at helping the users to form the habits. So it has 4 elements: trigger, action, rewards, and investment. So it says that users are always receive the trigger to take an action. It could be the notification or from the email reminder or something else, or they have the intrinsic trigger that they want to use it because they want to have more connect with other people. So they take the action. If they take this action, then a reward is given to them to encourage them to repeat the action. So by repeating this several times, and then users starting investing time and effort, and then from that the habit is formed. And another one is about the gamification. So if we talk about gamification, we always think about points or levels or leaderboards, but it's more than that. So this theory is a design theory called thesis. So it has 8 core values, and each value represents different meanings. And so these 8 meanings can motivate users to invest more time and effort into it. So let's take a look at these 8 values and to see what kind of elements that we can learn from it. The first one is called epic meaning. So you think of games, it always starts with you're the hero, you need to save the world, you need to help others. So there's always you feel motivated because you feel a part of something bigger than yourself. The second one is called empowerment of creativity. So users are more motivated when they have the freedom to express their own opinions or their own creativity. So, and also they want to see feedback from it, and they can edit it or change it. The third one, core value, is called social influence and relatedness. It's also related to community. So to create more social connect with people. These kind of social relations could be like acceptance or mentorship, but it could also be competition. This one is called curiosity. So if you don't know what is going to be happen next, so your brain is always engaged and thinking of it. Loss and avoidance is about you're afraid of losing something, so you're doing something to prevent something bad happen. Scarcity, it just means people want it because you don't have it. Ownership, it means if people feel motivated because they feel that they own something, so they want to protect it or to improve it, or they want to get more. The last core value, the last core value is development and accomplishment. It's about you feel motivated because you feel that you're improving, you're achieving some skills, you're leveling up. So I will use my prototype to show how I apply this gamification and book model theory. So the first feature, I created an online community. The first feature is you can receive the recommendation every week. So this is my district is responded for pushing these recommendations for users, and the users can browse it in just few seconds. And in this way, the huge amount of modules that we developed have the chance to expose to the users. And the second feature is about comments. So if you can see the comments from your colleagues in the one organization, and if you like it or you think it's useful, then you can like it, and you can also write your own comments here. And the third feature is when you think a specific module is very useful or you want to use it for later, then you can save it to your own collections. So here I add a collection menu. So you have your own freedom to create the boards, for example, sleeping problems or emotion problems, and it could be public or private if you don't want other people to see it. And you can also share the whole collection to your friends directly here. And the last feature is about badges. So if you users are rewarded specific like the basic registration, or if they finish the online training, or if they start following friends, then you can unlock those badges. So in this way, the users are motivated or encouraged to do the onboarding process in this way. And also, if you think of personalization and tailoring, we could also reward them some unique badges that only belongs to yourself. For example, if you're the first one in the organization to assign this module, then you can get a unique badge, so other people can see it. I did a user test. the procedure of it is I started with the introduction of the background information, and then I interviewed them some basic questions, and after that I asked them to perform the tasks. It's all in total 6 tasks, and then to see last part is about questionnaire to see how they feel about it. I will show you the prototype now. So this is the recommendation page. So when you are going to the catalog page, you can see the weekly recommendation. And if you go to the catalog page, you can see what your colleagues are using. So you can see what other people are using. And if you click into just specific module, you can see the comments here from your colleagues in one organization, and you can interact with them. And you can also see how many times it has been assigned to others, and how many people already saved it in their own collections. And you can see how many comments it has. And if you like it, you can save it to your own collections here, and you go to your collection page. The upper part is about the public collections, and you can also have your private boxes here. And you can edit it, like rename it, for example, sleeping problem here, or you can share it directly here with your colleagues and leave a message to them here. And here the badges, you can see all your history activities. For example, you comment on some specific modules, or you like others' comments, and you can unlock those badges here. So what are the test feedback from my user test? There are some positive feedback. People are quite positive about the comments feature and the collection feature. So they think if you think the comments from your familiar colleagues, it means so much more when like my district says it is a really good module. So it's more convincing. And the collection of different modules, it can save them time because they don't have to go to the catalog page again to search for that. But there are also some concerns about this. For example, like the weekly recommendation a week is too short, so it might be a burden for both my district and also the therapist. And also the function of showing what other people are using might pose privacy issues here. Remember our gamification theory? It could also be used to evaluate this idea. So take this online community idea, for example. This is how it performed on these 8 core value. So the green box are the corresponding features that related to those core values. You can see like the online community idea here gets quite high scores on the social influence and also the ownership, because they can have the more freedom to create what they want and share with others, so they have more connections with their colleagues. And for the loss and avoidance, maybe there's no corresponding feature related to that, so it's not very satisfying. The last part is about 3 recommendations that I found might be useful for the future development. The first thing is about cooperation. So I know my district is a business-to-business company, so it's very difficult to contact with those end users. But through my experience in these 5 projects, I found that it's really useful when I just talk to therapists, and they have different perspective than our designers or other developers. So invite more stakeholders before, during, or after the implementation process could be very valuable. And the second thing is about personalization. Think about like budgets or other things, like people feel they own something in the platform could be a very strong motivation for them to use the product. And the last one is to test more, so we can always learn from the test. Yeah, that's it.
I'm kind of curious about the skill of the user testing. How many people did you speak to? Or what kind of people?
For the first research part, I talked with 2 therapists, and I did a phone call with another therapist, and I talked with 2 colleagues from here. And for the mapping of different factors, I invited 4 colleagues in our company. And for the final user test, for the test for the online community, it's in total 5 people, 3 colleagues from here and 2 professors from my faculty. And I tried to connect, also ask Alchi and Shannon to help me contact those therapists, but it's like due to the time limitation or they don't have time, so I didn't have the chance to talk with them. Yeah.
So you would have liked it if it was a bit more.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lilian, for your presentation. It seems like you did a lot of work, and I really liked all your recommendations. And my question is also about those recommendations. There are a lot of them, and they're really creative, and I really like them. But what is your opinion? If we would be able to implement one of these recommendations first, what would be the most important one of your recommendations that we should implement?
First, well, I think these 3 are very important things, but I also, like in my report, I also list a lot of other recommendations, but I selected these 3 because I think it's very practical. Like, we need to invest in time and effort to invite users or to do the test and co-create, but if we have the vision that we need to ask to invite them during the process, then we should keep this in mind. And we can do the test for co-creation, like just very in the near future, right? Very easy to implement.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very impressive. So the idea is that you're gonna work here, or what's next?
No, because I don't have the working visa in Netherlands, so I have to ask for the search year visa and stay here to join another startup.
So
yes, I'm not going to stay in my district. It's a pity, but
well, that's a pity. So what's the next stage then? Because now you're gonna leave this, and it's a great material.
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely use this, but just wondering, like, how you're finishing wrapping up your presentation and you're going back. I'm just kind of hoping that we can integrate this, all these ideas. So I'm just wondering what the last step will be before you finish up your internship. You're gonna present this person to like the technical team, how they could integrate this, or what's next?
Well, because this project I almost did it on my own, but I also asked for different people's opinions. I didn't really talk with the development team or the business team or market team because it's still a project. But I think if I also upload the prototype online and also the identified factors, so if the colleagues here find it like just one tip is very useful, then they can cover it very easily.
Well, I've got one more question. Also, I really like the presentation, by the way. Personalization for me is a big mind-strict thing. The product has been developed to be more personal in the past, well, since I started working here anyway, before that. So I guess we made some strides, but if you were to make it like more specific, what would be your recommendation? What way should we move? What's personalization? Because it's really broad, of course.
Alright, because during my research talk with therapists, they have some future wishes. For example, they want their own collections of modules so they can use it more easily, like find the most frequently used tools very easily. So that's why I have the idea of collections. And in that way, it just can show the personalization in a way. And also the badges, we can reward them some unique badges that only belongs to themselves. And yeah, that's only two things that if I think of personalization in my project.
Okay, thanks.
Sylvan has something to add because for information, they always thought that adding the favorite in the catalog is something we should do, and conversations on content is technically possible as well. So it's the job of the product owner, he says. I think it's in response to your question, I think. Oh, you're waiting for me now? No, this is just his comment on Bobby. Sorry.
Alright, thanks.
Yeah.
Now you're done.
Yay!